Doodling is one of the most approachable ways to enter the world of drawing. It's not at all intimidating because there's no promised land. You can't get it wrong because there's no single right way to do it. And on top of everything, it's incredibly meditative, so, score. In this video, we'll explore simple ways to start doodling and the surprising results that can grow from it. My name is Vernon. Welcome to Toon School. Okay, backstory. Quite a few years ago, I hit a wall, creatively speaking. After leaving the advertising industry, my creativity was completely depleted. Anyone who's ever worked as a commercial artist will know exactly what I'm talking about. Churning out designs daily like an assembly line without ever replenishing the well that we draw our inspiration from. That is when two books completely changed my creative trajectory. Firstly, The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. I cannot recommend this book enough. It's a 12-week program designed to unlock and unblock creativity. One exercise in particular, the morning pages, really reshaped how I approach my day. I'm sorry, I cannot even say that with a straight face. I really didn't like it. I'm sorry, Miss Cameron, if you're watching this, I apologize, but I really struggled with the morning pages. It's 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing, first thing every morning. Now, writing isn't my primary gift, so most of my morning pages complained about having to write morning pages. But their purpose in the process was undeniable. One morning specifically, it was like 4 a.m. There shouldn't even be a 4 a.m. I really didn't feel like it, so I wrote the words blah, blah, blah for 3 pages. And then the most unexpected thing happened. Somewhere towards the end of the second page, this profound sentence or thought came through. So I wrote it down and then continued blah, blah, blahing for the remainder of the exercise. So it really, really does work, whether you want to do it or not. Then entered the second book, Keys to Drawing with Imagination by Bert Dodson. I love this book. What made it a revelation? While many drawing guides approach drawing with fine art theory, your shading, volume, still lifes and whatnot, this book approaches drawing through doodling. So I swapped my morning writing for morning drawings and committed to them for quite a few years, actually filling up a fair amount of sketchbooks. The combined practice of these 2 publications didn't only restore my creativity, but it rebuilt my confidence in my hand, my eye, and my imagination. So it really should go without saying that I am not affiliated with these publications. I do not claim ownership of the books or their content, heaven forbid. The details are in the description box below. The books can be purchased online or at your friendly neighborhood bookstore. Getting started really is easy, and it works for anyone who's willing to pick up a pencil and play. That's some really good alliteration there. I'm presenting you with Dodson's suggestions as they really do give you a very strong base to work from. So starting with the main shape. Step 1 is you draw a random enclosed shape. I used to just close my eyes when I draw this shape and just let the pencil walk. Also enclosed because sometimes, and I've learned this the hard way, when the shape is open or you just have random lines, it is more difficult, not impossible, but more difficult to create a strong doodle. Your second step is to decorate the shape by adding patterns in a deliberate and controlled manner. So these are the examples that Dodson presented us with. First of all, you have the patches. These are straight, parallel, evenly placed lines laid down at different angles. Then you have concentric lines, parallel lines, or lines that are parallel to the outer edge, to the contour line of the main doodle, the main shape. And of course, growing progressively smaller as you add lines. Then undulating, semi-parallel lines drawn in graceful curves. It really reminds me of contour lines, if my memory of geography serves. Initially widely spaced and then growing closer together in some points. You will see that this eventually makes a huge difference and makes it very alive, the fact that the lines are not parallel. And then dots, also known as pointillism in fine art and stippling in inking. Dots that in his case, he places it, can be placed in rows, but it can also be placed randomly as you would with stippling and pointillism. Then you have the next one, the pinwheel. This is really one of my favorite ones. The pinwheel is stripes that radiate from a point on the edge, and then the alternate lines are filled in. You will not believe the difference this makes. It's insane how your doodle changes as you start filling in these lines, which makes sense because it sort of grounds your illustration, your doodle. Then you have the cactus, short prickly parallel strokes and dashes on the in and outsides of your contour line. You have the shaded edges, which is exactly the same as the cactus, but instead of short dashes, you actually shade, you know, the way an artist would, from very dark to very light. And then the stretched checkered board. This was also one of my favorites. I don't know why, but this pattern always reminds me of the old 80s series Twin Peaks. I think there was a floor that had that pattern tile, and for some reason it always comes back to me. And then finally you have water. This depiction of water that he's giving here is actually quite remarkable, and I would recommend this if you're trying to draw water. It's irregular shape pointed at the ends. I've actually been using this a lot ever since I found this in his book. It's really a very, very good solution to drawing the surface of water. So I started out by using Dodgson's examples and trying all of them on one doodle. And then I grew from there, evolved from there, trying different shapes as one would, because every morning is different. The one on the left-hand side, I actually started with a cloud shape and just added some more planes to work with as I carried on. And here are examples of the undulating lines. You can see on the one on the right-hand side how, because of filling in the lines, how the different shapes and the ways the lines curve creates a 3D effect, which is really very visually pleasing. And you will see that every shape will sort of guide you. I would advise that keep it simple at first. I see a lot of Toon Schoolers who would really go crazy on that first doodle on the main contour shape, and then it gives you a lot that you have to fill up. And it is time consuming once you start filling up the different planes. So I would suggest keeping it simple at first, but I mean, if once creativity hits, there's usually no stopping you. The one on the right-hand side was obviously a very good morning, and I had time at my disposal, so I just went absolutely crazy with the patterns. The one at the top right-hand side also I enjoyed because it's that technique where you work into the shape, where you create depth, as if the shape is a hole in the page and you're looking down into it. As an alternative to your organic shapes, you can also use basic geometric shapes as a base for your doodle and then let your doodle grow from there. For example, the one on the right-hand side, I used the eternity sign and had two crossing and then added smaller eternity signs on the inside. And then eventually this evolved into this beautiful sort of alien-like pattern that I really like. And also at some point I crossed over from pencil to inking, which made a huge difference because just of the sheer presence that the black does on the page. And then I also tried on good mornings, I tried color as well. Next up, you can use words, like power words or strong words that you use as your base, and you let your doodles flow inside or outside of that. So you can use words that are more abstract. You can use words of objects. And then also you can use words that comes from your fandoms, anything that you know and love, and you take the word and you can either decorate the word like I did with passion, or like with life. I actually incorporated small illustrations to emphasize the theme. As you get into the swing of things, you can also use the outlines of objects or animals as the base of your doodle. So pretty much turning something familiar into a doodle playground. In this case, or in the case of the animals, I actually roughly drew out the animal, but then I kept my construction lines, the lines I used to find my shape. I actually kept them and used them to divide my object into planes, and then went on to decorate the planes individually. The aim is really just to have fun with it. Now here is where something magical happens. Doodles can actually spark ideas for new cartoons or illustrations. Some days are magic, like this tree. This tree actually resulted or went on to be an artwork the size of an A2, I think it was, of a tree executed in this drawing style. To quote a song, some days are diamond, some days are stone. Some days, honestly, you have nothing. But this is the beauty of it. Whether it was something great or not, you still had something on the paper. Creativity happened, drawing happened. And that's the aim of the exercise after all. And finally, we get to the surprising results that I was referring to. Once you move over into drawing, these doodles become your creative arsenal. They become the line work you use in your artworks, the hatching, the cross-hatching, the patterns on clothing, the textures you use to create variation in a landscape. These doodles become your creative goal. And then to wrap things up, I just included a couple of my favorites together with that tree I showed you. This one I liked. I remember liking executing this. And then also my very favorite was this tree. I've got a thing for trees. Trees are my default setting. Whenever I try a new medium especially, or I just don't know what to draw. I always go for trees first. In this case, I didn't want to draw the entire crown of the tree, so I just simplified it to circles. I remember I did the tree on a plane, which was a couple of hours in the air, very well spent. At the end of the day, doodling isn't a trivial practice. It teaches you what your drawing tool can do, and more importantly, how to trust your inner artist. And it's not only for beginners either. To this very day, I turn to doodling whenever I have this urge to create, but all the projects I'm working on involves some sort of effort, like studio setup or reference or research. So whether you're a beginner or a novice, pick up a pen or pencil, draw, explore, and unleash your creativity. Much like the Phoenix did at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. So go out, be great, live creatively in very many directions, and may the creative force be with you. The combined practice of these publications didn't only restore my like research or reference or setting up the studio or the light table. That is when 2 books completely changed my creative trajectory.